Digital. It is Friday, 14th June 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago has taken no decision in increasing or decreasing the rate of value-added tax VAT. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley made the disclosure in response to comments from the opposition leader about plans by government to increase the VAT rate in the country. He made the comments made could have implications for the country and made it clear the administration has been transparent on this issue. The remarks made yesterday at the post-cabinet news briefing. Meanwhile, a delegation from Ghana and India are expected to arrive in Trinidad soon and will be invited to Tobago to explore possible opportunities on its sister isle for tourism activity. The Prime Minister says he's in support of plans to set up a hotel in Rocky Point, Tobago. He said a high-quality hotel with high-quality rooms are needed to help boost the tourism product in Tobago. Canadian YouTuber Christopher Muslis Hughes has informed the courts he's hoping to leave this country today. Hughes' matter was called yesterday before Acting Chief Magistrate Christine Charles. It was held virtually. He's been charged under the Sedition Act following a release of videos showing men in the country who profess to be gang members. The offense has a maximum sentence of $3,000 or 2 years imprisonment. Hughes has pleaded not guilty. He's currently out on $100,000 bail. He's being represented by a team of attorneys, including Pamela Elder, Senior Counsel, and Logan, Senior Counsel, and Russell Warner. The state is also represented by attorney Daniel Thompson. During the hearing, the court was informed that the state had yet to receive the full file on the matter from the complainant, the charging officer. The court was also informed Hughes' passport was never taken from the registry and he had not left the country. He indicated he's hoping to return to Canada today, Friday. However, the return of his passport was not addressed during the hearing, as the court informed Hughes that an application for his passport would have to be made in the High Court and his attorneys will treat with this process. A request was also made for the electronic equipment taken from him during the course of the investigation to be returned to him. The matter is expected to be recalled on August 23rd. Information will be presented about the difficulties that arose when the Strategic Services Agency, the SSA, says Prime Minister. He made the announcement at the post-cabinet media briefing. Dr. Rowley said there'll be no sitting of Parliament in the month of July and will make a statement on the SSA before Parliament takes its annual recess. In March of this year, there was a shake-up at the SSA as the Office of the Prime Minister announced the SSA Director, Major Roger Best, had been sent on administrative leave, and retired Brigadier General Anthony Philip Spencer, TNT's ambassador to the U.S., had been recalled to replace him and conduct an audit on the organization. Best was later fired in May of this year. 3 former SSA employees were charged with misbehavior in office. There's a plea for the government to consider reviewing incentives in place for the energy companies to engage in drilling activities locally. This from former Energy Minister Kevin Ramnarine. He says exploring this option is vital, especially in light of falling oil and gas production in the country. He made the remarks while being interviewed on Power Digital yesterday morning. The Press Association of Jamaica has expressed alarm at the widespread threats and abuse against television Jamaica journalist Giovanni Dennis since a special report highlighting illegal drag racing in Jamaica. PAG condemned the response to the story, which was first aired on Sunday. PAG President Milton Walker says the association views the threats as an attack on press freedom, and journalists must be allowed to do their work free and fair from intimidation. And the UN says a total of 120 million people are living forcibly displaced by war, violence, and persecution. The United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR, said forced displacement globally has once again smashed records with conflicts in places like Gaza, Sudan, and Myanmar, forcing even more people to flee their homes. The global displacement population is now equivalent to that of the population of Japan, it pointed out in a statement. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming up at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
neighbors. It is Friday. That's right. The 14th day of June. Almost at May, yes? Yeah. 14th. It's a love day. Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love, Paul? Yeah, that face says it all. Yeah, and he hasn't felt love in a long time. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital with studios at 88 to 90 Abercrombie Street in Port of Spain, Trinidad. And for Richard Friends, Earth. All right? Full casting this morning. You just heard from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from Wendell Stephen, Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Ruben in the mix. No, Ruben is making his way to the office right now. That's right. We got Shane. My name is Steve Khan. Quickly taking a look at what's happening traffic-wise. The highway is quite light this morning. I don't know how come. Rivulet Road has got some congestion. Same at Chase Village. Nothing out of Piarco. Just approaching McCoy. You got some going through Aranguez. A little congestion there. But that's it. Leaving Santa Cruz, coming down to San Juan, you've got some traffic pretty much from the roundabout where you buy that lobster roti by the fire services coming down to Lower Santa Cruz. That's your heavy spot this morning. All right. 26 degrees at Piarco, same at Crown Point in Tobago. So what's going on, love man?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
Can you all hear the love in his voice? Or his throat?
I got him very late yesterday after working in Tobago for most of yesterday.
You went to Tobago yesterday?
Yep.
Really? Did I not see you in the office yesterday?
Got home until after 11. How flights is delayed from Tobago, though? Explain it to me.
I have no idea. That is a question I always ask. You're going right yet to Tobago. How the flights are delayed? And then they're on a schedule. So let's say if a flight leaves at 10:15, another one leaves at 11. If your flight is ready by 10:30, they'll say, come, let's go. We gone. They don't stick to the schedule. I don't know. I can never figure that out.
Well, the flight was supposed to be 9 o'clock coming back. It left at 10. Landed at 10:28. And then we spent 15 minutes to get off the plane. Why are we taking 15 minutes to get off the plane, though?
Why are you taking 15 minutes to get off the plane?
Why? Explain it to me now. Make it make sense.
Why you take 15 minutes?
A little train prop. Why? I'm at 100 and something issues. Really? People? Passengers. I ain't really coherent this morning.
That's weird. That is weird. I don't know. I don't know. Every time I take the aircraft to Tobago, it's one, delayed, or two, leaving early. I can never figure that out. Never. All right? But let's use that.
The weather was beautiful yesterday, though.
Yeah, rub salt into the wood
island.
You went in the sea?
No, sir.
No? I didn't drop that huge big toe that you have into the water.
3:20, went straight to the venue, worked.
Oh, right, okay.
Left the venue at 8, got to the airport, and had to sit down in the airport for an hour and a half.
Wasted time.
It's like, really? But I haven't been to the Tobago in so long. I didn't realize they did over a lot of the what you call it, the departure lounge and the arrival lounge, and they did quite a bit of work. And the new airport is very big.
It is?
The new airport is under construction, I should say. Wendell, where's your camera? Good morning.
Wendell, put clothes on first. And then put the camera on.
Before I put him on, and he.
Yeah, make sure he's wearing clothes, Paul.
Yeah.
Let's say good morning, good night to God Celia, DJ Ray out in Delaware, Wendy and James, Slick Money Grip, Boy Badesi and DB, Boy.
I don't know why he's not in the country.
Wendell?
He's still logging on and having some problems.
The internet issues. Yeah, boy, we'll fall out big time, huh? John Cato, good morning. Ray, and a soggy West Palm Beach, Florida. Boy, they got so much rain. Wayne B in Covington, Georgia. Maria Celia, Oliver Man Warren, D. Pierre, Carol Guevara, TGIF, Gloria Gray, Ed Eastholman, Edwin Marshall, CJ in New York, Brenda Isaac, Rena Butu Jennings, Alistair Hart, Karen Yipno. I got electricity. Carl M. Jack, Wayne Ramsey, Sherwin Kerr, Brent Sylvester. Good morning to you all. On WhatsApp, we have Michael out in London. We got David Nelson. We've got Dan Raj. Morning to you all. Where's Dre? Dre is always on at this time. Where's the rest of them? Come on, wake up, people. It's Friday. Morning, Wendell. Woo! You all match. I feel one of these things just doesn't belong here.
Morning. I don't know what happened just now. My computer screen just went completely blank, and I had to restart it. I was hearing you all, but not seeing anything on my screen. Well, good morning, Paul. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, handsome.
Morning, gorgeous.
That's never start here, you know. I catch you off guard there.
Yeah, boy, look how you stumped. All
I catch you off guard there. I catch you off guard there. I catch you off guard there. If you see your face like you don't know how to respond.
Oh gosh. And I was having such a pleasant I'm having such a pleasant
that should have added to it.
I was chatting with someone and the person just made me smile. So anyway, good morning, everybody. Good morning, all the listeners
and Steve.
Yeah. Sorry?
If I need I'll drop one for you and Steve.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. I should be down the road by midday.
Somebody call 999. I'm going to hold my breath.
Aren't you holding your breath now? Everybody should burst now the seams.
We are here.
Don't make me cut you off. Don't make me cut you off.
When I'm tired, I'm very cranky. I'm a 1 year old.
Do have a great day, Paul. I'll see you when I get to the office. Thank you for being on the show for the last 12 minutes. Thank you so much. All the best. Have a great day, Paul.
And I want to use a very strange question, a lifestyle question this morning.
Okay.
I'm afraid to listen to it.
In as much as I don't see why you throw me off there with a handsome talk, though. But I'll give in. Because anytime people compliment me, I feel good. So I'll give in.
I thought I'd catch you with that one.
I'll give in.
And I get mischievous when I'm tired and cranky also. So.
Well, I'm mischievous all the time. I'm sorry.
The flight attendant, whoever the cabin senior was yesterday on this flight to Tobago. I nearly fall off the seat. It's a good thing I had my seatbelt.
Yeah. What did that in Tobago that took you across there? GSC?
On the public health system. So good morning, Tobago. Thank you for having us there. And when we were approaching Crown Point, the attendant, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are reaching Crown Point.
Yeah.
Not we're arriving, actually, we're reaching.
We're reaching.
They wanted to make it very local.
Was she Tobagonian?
I don't know. I didn't get a Tobagonian accent as such, but it's the grammar. Karen, why are you asking how I fit in the seats very, very well? Actually, I'm surprised that my knees weren't bouncing too much on the seat in front. Why do they still use twin prop, though? I guess it's the fuel issue.
That's what they have here. Yeah, it's probably a fuel issue. You know. But I haven't been to Tobago in a little while, though.
I was saying I was pleasantly surprised. I haven't been either as to how upgraded the departure and arrival lounges are and how large the airport and the construction is.
Okay. Well, it's for international purposes.
It's a large airport. Mm-hmm. Which I guess they're building for the next 50, 70 years anyway. So, you know.
Yeah.
You may as well build a substantial airport.
Yeah. Was the flight a non-turbulent flight? Because that's always my fear.
It was eventless. Very straightforward. No drama. 20 minutes either way. 22 minutes one way, 20 minutes the other way.
All right, good. Nice.
Event.
Anyway, let me get my birthdays out of the way. My niece, Kendi Stevens, she is celebrating her birthday today. She lives out there in Fort Lauderdale. Happy birthday, Kendi. Ricardo Samuel from RRRS Productions. He is celebrating his birthday today. So I know Richard will definitely repeat this birthday when he comes on air. So, but happy birthday, Ricardo. And that's coming from
his twin brother.
And yes, he has a twin brother. My bad. Happy birthday, Ricardo, and twin. Nadra Nathai Gan. I think she is heading one of those state agencies now. I'm not sure which one it is, but she was also a candidate for the PNM in St. Augustine some years ago. Happy birthday, Mrs. Gan. Helena Pierre, Lauren Roberts, Kevin Toppin, Zico Ramdwa, the son of my very good friends, Arlene and Ainsley Ramdwa. Zico is celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, Zico. And of course, all of those who would have celebrated birthdays over the last few days and who will celebrate birthdays in the coming weekend. If you all didn't know, this weekend is Father's Day. Just thought I should tell you all. Sunday is Father's Day. You wouldn't think so, but it is. Okay.
But isn't it like this every year? They already take on Father's Day too much,
I just like to re-emphasize those points.
But you just plant the seed and that is what that's required,
I guess so.
Your reward is the opportunity to plant the seed.
I guess so. That's a big reward,
Well, don't say that. Don't say that. Do not say that. Don't say that.
At the point in time, At the point in time,
it depends. It depends.
It
depends.
But this weekend is also the internal elections of the United National Congress. And Monday, there will be 2 by-elections held in Lengua and in...
Is Monday already?
Is Monday? Yeah. The 2 by-elections are Monday. Lengua, and that's in the Maruga side. And then it's in a district in Pinal Debe. Why do I always forget the damn name? 2 districts, one in Pinal Debe and one in Princestown, will be contested on Monday. 2 by-elections. Right? So all that is happening this weekend. Lots to absorb this weekend.
Yeah, your partner supposed to be leaving the country today too.
Who's all your partner?
What's his name? Christopher Hughes.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah, he made an appearance in court virtually yesterday.
Oh.
And he asked, well, I think the attorneys have to petition for his passport to be returned, and he's expected.
Oh, was it returned already?
No, but not according to this report.
It was returned to him, which meant he could have left even before the matter came up. But he said he chose to stay here.
The return of his passport was not addressed during the hearing, as the court informed Hughes that an application for his passport would have to be made at the High Court, and his attorneys would have to treat with that process. There's an implication in that his passport was not returned.
Well, then somebody gave us a wrong story early on, because they said it was, and he was free to leave. And he said he chose to stay until the court matter. That was clearly a wrong story before then. This one is the wrong one. One of them wrong. Anyway, I guess he has learned a valuable lesson in Trinidad and Tobago here, as he would have learned before.
What lesson he learned?
Well, sometimes it ain't worth it. Sometimes that's the lesson you learn,
You know it's not worth it to him?
Well,
you know how many YouTube followers he must have gained since this?
True.
You know it's not worth it to him? Okay. YouTube, every time you get a citizen for YouTube is pay, and clearly that's his main, one of his forms of income. Because he ain't doing all that all around the world for free.
Yeah.
Okay? Or for likes. Yeah. Cabinet has taken no decision on increasing or decreasing the rate of value-added tax. When Steve comes back, we'll open the phone lines, folks. Good morning to you. Dr. Raleigh made the disclosure during postcard yesterday. Electricity went during postcard or something?
Yes, I did. I send the video to you. I sent it. I thought you might have played it. I sent it to you. because it truly the Prime Minister was in shock. You know, he went down low. What happened here? You know, because he was in complete darkness. The cameras were on him at the time when he was speaking, and then you just saw the 2 red lights from the microphone on. You know, but it must have thrown him off. It must have thrown him off. I sent it for you. You should play it. It could be kind of considered.
What, that lights go off in a room? We can't play that?
No, I'm just saying the circumstances now. Because he was in mid-speech, you know. He was in mid-talk.
Give me work this morning. Give me work this morning, man.
I'm sure I sent it to you.
Why are you giving me work this morning?
Because it took a while before it came back on. Well, the TikTok ended without the lights coming back on, eh? But I would imagine the live conference, people would have seen how long it took to come back on. You know, but it must have startled him, eh? Because I don't know that I've seen
press conferences will start years.
Yeah, the room got completely dark.
It's like, what are you doing, man? What are you already doing, man?
Yeah. And he's get agitated fast, eh? I telling you. When he have microphone problems and things like that, when he's on a platform, he's get agitated fast. Eh? But you should know that.
Why should I know that?
I always remember the day, and Richard will bear me. Oh, folks, by the way, Richard starts at 6:30. Eh? For folks who messaging me, why Richard always late? Richard official start is at 6:30, right? Just in case you were wondering. But I remember the day we invited Dr. Rowley to the program. He was opposition leader then, right? He wasn't prime minister yet, and we invited him to the program. And Dr. Rowley came into the program at 6. He was sitting in his vehicle actually, and then at 6 on the dot he walked into that.
Yeah, studio. That's where he's operating. He don't make joke.
He walked into that.
And they had things ready for him. He gets very, very antsy. Like,
well, that is what happened because he was invited to come for 6, so he came for 6, not thinking or not being told that the news would be first and then he would come on as a guest. And you know, the news could run for like 7 to 10 minutes sometimes on a morning. So
I'm sure he was not a happy camper.
He turned right and went back outside. I had to run outside. I said, Dr. Rowley, what? I said, no, it's just the news and then you'll come on after. Yeah, but nobody told me that. He got agitated and went back in that car, you know. He was ready to leave, you know. He gets agitated. But, you know, I guess that's his character. That's his style, you know. I was going to say something just now, too, that I forgot. Mon Diablo. Thanks, Adande. The district is Mon Diablo. That's in Pinal Debe. Quinam Mon Diablo. That's the name of the district. Quinam Mon Diablo. And the UNC is well, we'll see how that goes, yes?
Trying to make sure I update the right video.
I think it would have been the last video I sent for you.
No, I downloaded it, but I trying to make sure I update the right video and not the wrong video before we get in trouble this morning.
I didn't send the video of the murder in Curep today for you.
We saw the opposition leader talk.
Right, so that is KR. Let me just rename this, sir. In case the other KR come up. which could put us in trouble.
The one with the Rasta, where he did turn him into a Rasta. You saw that one? You didn't see that one? That's funny.
Not this morning. You smell now.
They put the man in Rasta hairstyle, you know. You found it?
Yes, I found it a while, just making sure it's the right one I'm using. I want the porn one to come up now.
Opposition leader talking about tax increases, I got concerned. And the reason why I was concerned was because in preparing the work of the Minister of Finance and taking part in the cabinet, what is this?
What is this?
No, that way to play over.
In preparing the work of the Minister of Finance and taking part in the cabinet. Oh, what is this?
No, it wasn't me. They might have gathered because what the hell, what the beep going on here?
Boy, they're lucky.
You realize the security person never went by him?
But we couldn't know. We don't know.
How do you know that, Steve?
Because there's if the video continues, you'll see somebody opened the door eventually, and he walked to the door. Suppose it was somebody that deliberately cut the electricity to assassinate the prime minister.
Look what you put in the universe.
No, that was a discussion yesterday. You know, but anyway, nothing happened, and they learn from the mistakes.
What about outage?
They would go to the security, would not go to the prime minister and usher him out of the room.
Well, I believe so. I believe some sort of security blanket should have been initiated immediately, because you can't take chances now.
You can't. You cannot leave room for error.
Yeah, you can't take chances. You know? And it could happen anywhere. I mean, we have seen internationally that it has happened that even in, with, who was it? Indira Gandhi and Anwar Sadat. There was people standing up right next to them, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, you have to be careful.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to be. So, I mean, I thought that was quite funny. But what is this? What?
So we're hoping we have a nice light morning this morning.
We're supposed to have Mr. Parry on.
So I'm proposing that we ask a lifestyle question.
Oh no!
I know where that lifestyle question going. If is it possible for us sometimes to even play like a couple of roadie sketches, because he did one on the question you are about to ask. Kind of similar thing, right? Where when Rodi just play all the characters, right? He is everybody when he plays it, when he does his skits, right? And he had one last night that related to cricket, but it was so cleverly done in that he was in this room with his outside woman, right? And his wife came home. And the woman had to hide below the bed. Of course, everybody's Rudy, right? The woman had to hide below the bed. And then the woman mistakenly ruffled up a black plastic bag under the bed. And the wife said, "What is that?" And the woman decided to make a noise like a cricket. And the man now, excuses, boy, as soon as T20 come around, them crickets just be coming in the room. It was just so cleverly done. He is just so very talented, eh? But I wish we could have played that one, because it relates to cricket. You know what I mean? It relates to infidelity, horning. It relates to all manner of things, you know? It's just so fun.
I'll have to get his permission, but I'll ask him.
Oh, gosh, too. But this
one. And then did you all see the video you sent to me, Wendell, with Gary Griffith?
Gary sent that to me, eh?
That was hilarious.
Good morning, guys, and good morning to our listeners, wherever you are.
Richard, we are chatting here. You have to wait your turn.
So, good morning.
You know, Button, look at you.
Just did.
Look at you. Go and get some coffee.
Morning, Richie.
My first order of business, of course.
Happy birthday, Ricardo Samuel.
Happy birthday, Ricardo Samuel.
You see? I knew that was coming.
My dear friend of so many years. So many years, too many years to count at this point. I just want to say a big happy birthday to you, Ricardo. And I know it's a very special day, and I hope you'll be enjoying it. I hope to come by you later at some point.
Are we not invited to come across?
And share a drink. Of course, you can just drop by, Steve, and Wendell and Paul.
Paul, you come down my room box now?
And to celebrate your birthday. I have a fantastic day today. But I know the celebrations have just begun. So happy birthday, Ricardo.
Or they take a rum, come down my rum box. Paul could bring some extra roti. He's bringing roti for me at midday.
Oh, he's bringing roti for you today?
Yes, he is. He in that kind of mood this morning. Today.
Okay. Big Anyway, no, you are mini. You are. I know the last time he bring a big hot chop for you.
Yeah. You bring a big roti. I want the small roti.
The amount of rotis and pizza he owe me, I not even holding my breath.
I want the small roti today, Paul.
I don't deliver small rotis. I only deliver big rotis. Good morning, Zena.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm proposing the question this morning be a lifestyle question. Are men naturally monogamous?
So you're leaving out women out of that?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you can't do that.
Or humans then, where we can say humans.
Yeah.
Are people naturally monogamous? Does it come?
I like the way you had phrased it to me the first time you sent it,
No, let me look for that.
Yeah. Do people, human beings, man and woman, naturally are unfaithful? Are they naturally unfaithful? Eventually? I think there's that kind of
Is
question.
monogamy a natural state to humans?
Use grassroots words now. Use doctor monogamy and monogamy.
What would you like? How would you like me to phrase it?
Horn in. Do people would a man and a woman eventually horn or be unfaithful? Ask that. Set a monogamy and all this set of intellectual language this morning. We don't want that. Ask it natural. Richard can put it. Richard do a play. Richard do a whole play with it the other day.
Is horn inevitable in a relationship?
You could ask that.
That you could ask.
Yeah, ask that.
Open the phone number, type it.
That's a touchy. It's a touchy question.
It is. But it's a touchy issue on the whole. It's about touching her. And?
Well, in a sense, yes.
I don't see how you can horn without touching.
Love is a walk.
Right. I have it typed up and waiting.
Nice. You leave it
at the appropriate time. So, yesterday the Prime Minister said several things during the postcard when the current came back. He debunked the accusation by the leader of the opposition about this supposed proposed increase in the value-added tax. He also said that he will make a statement before the July parliamentary recess at the end of June on the SSA issue, which that investigation has been ongoing by retired Brigadier General and Ambassador to Washington, D.C., Philip Anthony Spencer. So that's been ongoing for a while. That caused all kinds of reverberations. Major Roger Best was fired. 3 people were charged with misbehavior in office. So it's quite a big story. You know? And so on and so on.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to hear what comes out of, and of course the Prime Minister continued to say that in his opinion, a lot of the crime is being caused because there are no consequences. And he was surprised that a person who was charged with kidnapping recently obtained bail and was out on bail.
Okay.
He'd been articulating this narrative for a while about the lack of apparent consequence from criminals because they do stuff and get out on bail and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So the lines are open this Friday morning.
It's Friday. The weekend has begun, people. Put a smile on your face, even if you are in the beginnings of traffic. Know it is Friday, and it's going to be all right.
People weighing in on the potential poll already, you know. Alistair Hard says, men are creatures of habit. That's why we get caught. But women are secret creatures like a snake. Whoa. Michael Grandison says, bountiful graces and blessings, folks. I say yes. I do not even believe in the concept of nuclear marriage and families. Gloria Gray says, not necessarily. It depends on the individual. Well, that's why the question came up, Gloria, because is it an inevitable thing at the end of the day? You know, because there are people who've gone from married for 50 years, and then just so they break up because somebody became unfaithful. Or the unfaithfulness was discovered. Could be that too.
And sometimes people don't know they get horn, you know.
A lot of times. Well, they always say a horn is not a horn until you take it on. You know?
All right. Good morning.
But how do you
morning,
not take
Steve.
it?
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Paul. Good morning,
morning.
to Richard, and good morning to
Good morning.
Wendell.
Morning,
Hey.
Ms. Davide.
Well, oh my gosh, this question very loaded. Anyway, I'm going to.
Well, that horn is a loaded thing, you know.
I'm not answering any poll today.
Why though?
I'm not, because I don't agree with nothing there.
It's triggering.
You have a right to not self-incriminate. So you hold your ground.
Because I don't agree. So the answer can't be in the middle. So I don't agree with none.
No, we're not taking abstentions today. We're not taking any abstentions today.
Well, you see, abstentions don't count. Hey, Dr. Paul, abstentions don't count.
They do actually.
No.
That's incorrect. They actually do.
Oh, I didn't know abstention counts. Well, now we are here.
They actually do in an official capacity,
Well,
contrary to popular belief.
because it's official abstention count. But concerning Dr. Rowley spoke on a wide range of issues yesterday, and those issues are so very topical. And for the last few talks that Dr. Rowley gave, I find he getting things the judiciary like it getting to him now, where the judiciary comes into play. But he doesn't want to mash corn, so you kind of leave it hanging. So I think just in public, we kind of worried and concerned. I'm speaking for a lot of people about the judiciary. Things are not going right according to what you see on the outside, because too many things happening, and people are getting away with literally murder. But it's not a murder charge, but they're getting away with murder. So the man got charged with kidnapping, appeared in court, and was given bail. I know it's a bailable offense, but then again, what's new? So I am kind of worried, and it's getting to me now because the crime is so out of hand, and I don't know why any Chief Justice saying nothing. I don't know if he had to speak about something, but it's nothing happening, and it is just getting out of hand, And on the other question of Ms. Kamala Prasad-Visetta, this is the 5th time, I believe, this is being addressed concerning that bad thing that she said. Once, twice, the 4th time. And I'm happy I said it again, because she'll be repeating it again and again so that it sounds truthful. So I think that is another way that Ms. Kamala Prasad-Visetta is frightening people. She doesn't have nothing to say and just making up stories, Not that I vote for anybody, but stop lying, If they say that, stop lying. So anyway, you all have a wonderful day, and I'm seeing everybody. Good morning, I'm waving to you.
Good morning, have a great weekend. A biologist once told me there's a reason, and an anthropologist once told me there's a reason why women ovulate once a month and release one egg, but men release millions of sperms every day.
You really want to go there, boy?
There's a reason. It's designed, every day men produce and can release millions of sperms.
Because
think about how what God may have intended by that simple mechanism.
Dr. Job had a very, very raw way of saying that. Remember that, Richard? What you used to say?
So women can really procreate. Actually, and if a woman gets pregnant, it's literally 9 months, whereas a man, because of his physiology, can go every day if he so desires. Yeah. And women's fertility time is limited, and men could go till 70, 80, 90, 100. There's a reason why God, in his infinite wisdom, designed it that way.
Preach, brother, preach.
Evolution.
You're preaching today, boy.
Something happened in Tobago.
It means that, you could, God probably say, well, you all need to be able to go often and plenty.
Rich, you preach it, preach. I tell you, Dr. Job had a very raw way of saying it. I used to pull out sometime when he said, no, Dr. Job, you can't say that on radio. Yeah, but it's true.
There's a reason that God, in his infinite wisdom, the master of all design, designed deliberately men to be able to procreate and impregnate millions and millions by the millions, if they so desire, if they have the energy.
Of course, if you don't believe in God, it's evolution.
Well, whether it's evolution or God or both, because I don't believe that evolution is absent from God either.
That's your belief. But I'm just saying, if you don't believe in God, it's evolution.
So
and
there's
it's about
a reason.
Survival of the fittest. That's why it's the fittest sperm, in a sense, that gets the egg. Many don't. It's kind of like a microcosmic picture of evolution. That survival of the fittest. That's what happens.
That man bring that around to that. Richard, you're good at it. You're good at it, Richard.
True talk.
Wasn't that what Dr. Job was saying?
And it's for the survival of the human race.
Save us, caller. Save us.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning. I don't know if you all could find out, or if Lincoln might be able to answer. What is the reason the police are not using the body cam? Does anybody know? Because I can't understand, because Gary...
I not groaned. I don't know if you heard it, because maybe it was
What you said, Richard?
I say I inner groaned when you brought that up. That is your body cam.
Because, no, I listened to Gary Griffith on a TV station, I think it's Tobago station, saying how he was this great leader, and he did that for the TTPS when he was commissioner on arms, and he said he bought the body cams. And I am saying, how come he did not get them to use it? It is sitting there in the commissioner's office. I don't know if Ms. Christopher could tell us why the police are not using it, because it will save them from people saying they thief their money when they go on a raid, they beat them up. You know, the two officers they held, who the businessman said he stole his 20,000 US. If they had on body cam, it would have vindicated them. So this is what I would like to find out. Lincoln, if you know, could you please call and let us know?
Thank you. Do you know some stores in the US are actually informing their employees that they have to wear body cams? That's a new thing now. Yeah. Target being one.
Ms. Diego Martin,
something to my head that we haven't had an update on in a while. What happened to the drug Susu man?
Yeah, true.
I don't know why it jumped into my head. What happened to that situation?
No
I guess
clue.
when the caller spoke about body cams and when they discovered all this money, stuff in garbage bags in the roof and all kind of thing, and was he charged? And he was a member of the Teacher Defense Force. He was charged?
I think he was.
You see, that's the kind of thing you doesn't even know what's going on sometimes.
No, true, huh?
Ragoobarsingh, do you have newspapers?
Wait, before you do that, Paul, very important call for you. Good morning.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Señores.
Buenos dias. ¿Cómo está? Muy bien.
Muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Yeah, muy bien.
Gentlemen, what am I hearing this morning about that Christmas list, man? What is another charge now? The charge changed?
No.
No, why you say that?
No.
Yes, what I heard, Paul, what you read.
No, charge under the Sedition Act. That's still what happened before.
You see that? I don't know.
I hope that man ain't come and get money off for this country.
Keep
I
hope
don't
alive.
something not singing right. But you all realize I know you all like shopping, especially Steve, like shopping online. You realize they say cost of living so high in America prices that like sales slow and see where Amazon and like Target and all of them come together to lower prices and things.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's good news.
Yeah, I heard it. They're lowering the prices like to get the stocks moving.
Mm. Well, that's great news.
Really?
Yes. So I don't know what I have to look through Amazon and thing and see how the prices looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Target stores have been closing down, you know.
I was listening to one of those the foreign stations now.
Okay.
They've been closing up.
Stores.
They've been closing up Target stores in the United States. Target stores have been closing.
Yeah. Well, everything went so high because I realized that things that I bought already online, I saw for even Christmas going there, they were 3 times the price, you know. After that COVID, things just skyrocketed. So I don't know.
All right.
All of us check it
Thanks,
out.
Zena.
All right, gentlemen. Yeah.
All right. Take care. All right. Let's get in the headlines, gentlemen.
Do you have Richard?
Yes, I do have papers today, as I said. Anyway, the front page, of course, today is Friday, June 14th, 2024. The headline on the front page of the Newsday, I'll start with the Newsday this morning, on this Friday morning. On the front page of the Newsday, PM slams critics of hotel plans. EMA law used to obstruct. PM, foster free to sue state. Christmas list wants to go home.
Well, hold on, stop right there. But Paul, didn't you in the news said you wants to go back to Toronto today?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Rich.
Okay. Christmas list wants to go home. And that's it. Or the main picture is that of the vibes at the T20 World Cup match between West Indies and New Zealand. And on the back page of the Newsday today, West Indies Rutherford on match-winning Heroics versus Kiwis. My best knock yet. World Cup park and ride being re-evaluated. Well, I hope.
Yeah, I heard that was a chaos.
So that's it for the front and the back of the
All
Newsday.
those park and ride things are chaotic.
On to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. What a waste is the headline this morning. PM laments the high cost of crime. What a waste. Says countries losing lives and resources. Complains government facing legal obstacles in holding persons accountable. And there is a picture of Dr. Rowley in darkness. Electricity went to something at the press conference.
Yeah, we showed it just now.
Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah,
That's not kind of embarrassing.
I did message Minister Gonzalez and say, "What you do there, boy?"
Yeah,
We had a good laugh.
Embarrassing. You know, that's the kind of mishap that could make world news.
Yes, it can.
As a side humor item, you know.
Yeah, that's what it's funny.
Yeah. Gary Kamler obsessed with Jolene, and Chris Muslist returns home.
What is Gary Griffith insinuating?
That's Chris Muslist returns home. So that's it for the front page of the Guardian. But the main picture is of the Prime Minister in darkness. Well, semi-darkness. In shadowy light.
The lights on the microphone didn't go off though.
Yeah.
The two red lights.
Light. That's highly embarrassing in the middle of a press conference to the country. On the back page, Super Windies home team qualifies for ICC Super 8 quarterfinals. There'll be a lot of memes about that, no doubt. Super Windies. Home team qualifies for ICC Super 8 quarterfinals. That's the back page. That's what you need to know. Daily Express for today. Front page. Caught out is the headline that the Express went with. Park and ride system stores hundreds forced to walk back to vehicles after T20 World Cup match. Caught out. That's the headline they went with. Christmas list hopes that leave TNT today. That's a sub-headline. What is this? Oil deposits detected at site of Gulfstream vessel. PM, I will make sure hotel is built at Rocky Point. And that's the Marriott Hotel. And hasn't construction begun on that?
I'm not sure.
For the first time when I went to Tobago over the week last weekend, I think I saw the new terminal I
was saying so yesterday. It was a very large airport.
in the distance. I saw it for the first time. I said, oh,
quite an expanse.
That's it. And there's a picture of Dr. Rowley holding up a shirt at the match, at the T20 World Cup match, that says Rowley PM on the back of his shirt. I'm being given a shirt by somebody. I'm not sure who's the name of the shirt there, Wendell?
I'm not sure. It's an official from the West Indies Cricket Board. Let me get the name.
All right, let's continue, gentlemen. Behind time.
And on the back page, best knock. Rutherford keeps head to be hero against New Zealand. That's it for the 3 dailies.
All right, thank you so much, Richie Rich. Let's get the results of our morning poll that we asked you yesterday. Do you think the state took the appropriate approach in charging YouTuber Chris Hughes, aka Chris Mustless? The results are in. No. 80% said no. 80. All right, let's get into this. A morning's poll has been typed up now for over half an hour. There it is. There it is.
Richard, you write for this poll. I wouldn't be able to keep up.
You know, that's something you shouldn't say at this time. Is horn inevitable in a relationship?
Inevitable. Inevitable.
And we didn't put in.
Not him. You better sell this poll as the only man on this chat.
I think I better stay out this poll. Let's go. 222-8255. Toll free. North Americans. 866-525-1099. On WhatsApp at 318-1021. Facebook, YouTube, you know what to do. Let's get cracking. Say the poll there for Wendell.
Is horn inevitable in a relationship? Yes or no?
So, all right. Good morning, GNC Auto Security. Jaron Joseph, good morning. On is inevitable because of the nature. Okay, blah, 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 blah. We just want yes or no. We just want yes or no. All right.
Let express yourself now. Why you so?
I'm reading the messages. That's all. I'm just reading. Why you so testy?
They could be more testy than you, Steve.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's go. Josie Richardson.
From Josie Richardson,
yeah. Josie Richardson says no. Alistair Hart, yes. Anthony Franco, no. Trinidad Margot, no. Who's this here? Oh, Alicia. Hello, Alicia. Alicia says yes. All right. Oops, I'm doing something wrong here. Right. I did
Ignorance is sweetness.
Boy Badesi says no. Julie, no. Slick Money Grip, no. Just a nice guy, definitely yes. Wayne B, no. Finbar Collins, yes.
I can't
says no. Which is Peter, I try not to. Yeah, I try not to. Yes. Long Islander. Yes. All right. Is horn inevitable in our relationship? That's our poll. Yes or no?
So 222 talk 222-8255. You can call in on this poll. So 222 talk 222-8255. North Americans. What is North Americans number again?
866-525-1099. Chris Tousse says yes to the poll.
Morning, Chris. Michael Robinson says yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not.
What
folks,
says
we're
you,
not
caller?
you. We're not asking you if you've ever been.
Morning, caller.
Good morning, New Jersey. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, New Jersey. Beauty Culture says no. Michael Robinson says in Yokohama, Japan, says yes. Hector says no. Yeah, that is so right. I suspect lots of people voting with their spouse next to them. Carol Guevara, yes. Hector, no.
What you just said?
All right. What?
Okay. Is horn inevitable in a relationship? That's our poll this morning. 222 talk 222 talk 8255. That so you can call in and give your opinion. 866-525-1099 for those of you in North America. That's absolutely toll free. 866-525-1099. People who want to WhatsApp us, 868-318-1021. I'll say it again a little slower. 868-318-1021. And of course, people who are watching us on streaming platforms, you can send your vote via the messaging portal there. But we'll be interested in getting some calls because we love Bacchanal. Is horn inevitable in a relationship? That's our poll this morning. It's Friday, so we are taking it there this morning.
DL wants me to vote for them. I don't know, DL, male or female? Are you male or female?
Marcia Rock says no to the poll.
And folks, we're not asking you if you've ever been unfaithful, if you ever horned. That's not the question. We're asking it, is it inevitable in a relationship, right? Any relationship.
If it lasts long enough, yes, in my opinion.
Yeah?
If it lasts long enough, yes. Relationships go through all kinds of ups and downs. And people find comfort in the arms of others sometimes, even if they didn't plan it. And some do plan it.
Because love is a walk.
Well, some people don't even reach the arms stage, you know. The comfort ain't necessarily the arms, you know. And Richard,
what's that?
The comfort ain't always the arms.
What the comfort is sometimes the legs. You sound very experienced and knowledgeable.
I am wrong.
We know you are wrong long.
Is that your final answer?
Wendell, have you ever horned in your marriage or relationships?
Don't answer that question, may I caution you?
Ooh, you feel Paul can trap me? You're mad, God. He done start up this morning. Yeah, we start off the program this morning, Richard. Wendell, you look handsome today.
I did not say that. I said good morning, handsome. I said good morning. I did never say look. I said good morning, handsome. And I just left it. You jump out and claim it.
Same thing.
Opposition leader talking about tax increases, I got concerned. And the reason why I was concerned was because in preparing the work of the Minister of Finance and taking part in the cabinet, what is this?
All right, let's grab this call.
You know what was astonishing? Just before we take this call, Steve, you know what's astonishing to me about that incident? That security didn't kick in.
We spoke about that too.
Yeah, I saw that. I said that, sorry. All right, one more call quickly before we head to 7 o'clock news. Good morning.
Yes, and Hector, you like to answer everybody. You're living in La La Land, yes.
What?
Just so.
All right, thank you.
That's on the comment section. Rule
Okay, right.
Chat come on the air.
Marcia Rock says no to the poll. Keegan Barra says no such thing as horn in an open relationship. David Ware says no. Morning, Mrs.
David have no choice but to say that.
Of course, David, I do have a choice. Beauty culture horn is a walk. All right, gentlemen, let's get in. Mr. Parry is going to join us at 7:30 this morning. All right, so let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
No decision has been taken by Cabinet on plans to increase VAT rate. A delegation from Ghana and India to visit TNT to explore possible opportunities for tourism on the Sister Isle. Canadian YouTuber Christopher Christmasless Hughes informs the court he is hoping to leave TNT today, and information to be presented today about the difficulties that arose with the Strategic Services Agency. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Afril Sintil Bob. Good morning. Cabinet has taken no decision on increasing or decreasing the rate of value-added tax. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley made the disclosure in his response to comment from the opposition leader about plans by government to increase the VAT rate. He said the comments made could have implications for the country and made it clear the ruling administration has been transparent on this issue.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the second time, I want to make it very clear. Notwithstanding anything you've heard from the opposition, especially the opposition leader, there was no discussion in the cabinet about adjustment either upwards or downwards on VAT. That did not happen. So all the conversation about be careful, be aware, the government is about to do this, and the government, that is not true.
On another issue, the government defended its decision to set up the proposed Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. Prime Minister Dr. Rowley claimed this institution is required to aid in the effective collection of outstanding taxes. He explained the ruling administration has added no new taxes on the population. The remarks were made during the weekly post-cabinet news briefing held at Whitehall, Port of Spain on Thursday.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, our circumstances can be influenced for the worse by statements like that coming from officials of the nation. When officials holding those positions speak, their words have effect. There are people in the financial sector, there are people in the business sector who will hear it and would be inclined to say where there is sound like that, there are statements. Where there is smoke, there is fire.
A delegation from Ghana and India, which are expected to arrive in Trinidad soon, will be invited to Tobago to explore possible opportunities in the Sister Isle for tourism activity. The Prime Minister says he's in support of plans to set up a hotel in Rocky Point, Tobago. He said high-quality hotel rooms are needed to help boost the tourism product in Tobago, and the tourism sector is one of the means which can be used to diversify the economy. Dr. Rowley recalled the Sandals Hotel project for Tobago, what the government was willing to do to make the venture a success, and the eventual outcome of the proposed move. The Sandals Group decided to take the project to St. Vincent and the Grenadines after what transpired in Tobago. The venture was recently described by the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a success. Dr. Rowley also revealed the improvement to the airport terminal in the Sister Isle and that it's going according to plan.
There are many Tobagonians right now asking why we lost Sandals. You know what it was said? You know what was said then? When the Sandals family pulled out? The Prime Minister and the government didn't sell the project effectively enough. Well, that is why I'm here now saying I intend to support, and my government supports fully, the Rocky Point Hotel in Tobago and other hotel sites that may be chosen. Tobago needs more hotel rooms. Tobago needs quality jobs. Tobago needs to improve its economy, not only for Tobago, but for Trinidad and Tobago.
Canadian YouTuber Christopher Christmasless Hughes has informed the courts he's hoping to leave Trinidad and Tobago today. Hughes' matter was called yesterday before Acting Chief Magistrate Christine Charles. It was held virtually. He was charged with sedition following the release of videos showing men in the country who professed to be in gangs. The offense has a maximum sentence of $3,000 or 2 years imprisonment. Hughes has pleaded not guilty. He's currently out on bail set at $100,000. He is being represented by a team of attorneys, including Pamela Elder SC and Ananram Logan SC and Russell Warner. The state is being represented by attorney Danielle Thompson. During the hearing, the court was informed that the state had yet to receive the full file on the matter from the complainant, the charging officer. The court was also informed that Hughes' passport was never taken from the registry as he had not left the country. Hughes indicated he was hoping to return to Canada today. However, the return of his passport was not addressed during the hearing, as the court informed Hughes that an application for his passport would have to be made at the High Court and that his attorneys would treat with this process. A request was also made for the electronic equipment taken from Hughes during the course of the investigation to be returned to him. The matter is expected to be recalled on August 23rd. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital till 7 o'clock. Information will be presented about the difficulty that arose with the Strategic Services Agency, the SSA, says Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. He made this announcement yesterday at the post-cabinet media conference at Whitehall, Port of Spain. Dr. Rowley said there will be no sitting of the Parliament in the month of July, and he will make a statement on the SSA before the Parliament takes its recess. In March this year, there was a shake-up at the SSA as the Office of the Prime Minister announced that SSA Director Major Roger Bass had been sent on administrative leave, and retired Brigadier General Anthony Philip Spencer, Trinidad and Tobago's ambassador to the United States, had been recalled to replace him and conduct an audit into the organization. Bass was later fired, and in May this year, 3 former SSA employees were charged with misbehavior in office. Finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, mostly sunny, hazy, and at times breezy conditions, despite partly cloudy spells with showers in a few areas. Tonight will be mostly fair and hazy, despite the odd overnight shower. A significant concentration of Saharan dust is present in the atmosphere. Persons sensitive to changes in air quality are being advised to take the necessary precautions. You can expect a temperature high of 33 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 28 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, no decision taken by Cabinet on plans to increase VAT rate. A delegation from Ghana and India to visit TNT to explore possible opportunities for tourism on the Sister Isle. Canadian YouTuber Christopher Christmasless Hughes informs the courts he's hoping to leave Trinidad and Tobago today, and information to be presented today about the difficulties that arose with the Strategic Services Agency. I'm Avril Sindhilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All righty. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You could join her again. Come in less than 1 hour, 50 minutes from now, 50 minutes from now, with a news brief. And then again at noon today with Sir Charles. All right, quickly taking a look at traffic. I'm seeing one accident, and it is where? It's on the southern main road in Curep. It is by the roundabout. On the southern side of the Church of Roosevelt Highway. All right, so that's creating a little traffic there. Let's see what's happening. Usual spots where you think you're going to get traffic, you will get traffic. Yeah, it's certainly picked up. Eastern Main Road is not too bad. Just going through Tacarigua to Puna, you've got it. Apart from that, just some various spots with some congestion. But out of Marval Dago, same thing. Uriah Butler Highway is not bad. You're going to pick up traffic just before the Carney River. Going to Chase Village is some volume. Riverlet Road is heavy. But that's it, really. San Fernando, lighter than usual. All right. Let's see if we have any more votes here. We do. Let's see. We did David Wes. Mrs. R says no. Joe Sam says yes. Esther Adams, yes. Anthony Miguel, yes. Central Animal Lover, no to the poll. Danrad says yes. Let's see. Kazim Mohammed says no. Somebody else here says CMJ. What did CMJ say? He said, oh, yes. And I got one more here from Larry saying no.
Larry, I wonder if that's my friend Larry from around by QRC there. Snow Cold Man.
Oh,
morning, Larry.
Yeah, morning, Larry. Aisha says, okay. All right. That's it. Let's see what the results say. Of course, Mr. Rushton Parry will join us coming up at 7:30 this morning.
Oh, so we could actually, anyway, when Mr. Parry comes in, I'll ask him, concerning the internal elections and so on. Because I already have my predictions about that. And about Monday, I think PNM will win Lengua Indian Walk and the UNC will win Quinam Mondial. That's how I see that election. As for the internal elections, I think the Star Alliance team will sweep the polls with a very low turnout. And Mr. Parry and them, they will just have to decide on what the political future is coming up in the next few months.
I have tried with the Star Alliance to get somebody on.
They're not going to talk.
I sent multiple WhatsApp. I even tried calling some people. No response whatsoever.
Well, anyway, we have 33 people voting on the poll this morning in the allotted time. Is Horn inevitable in a relationship? We took the poll down the light corridor, so to speak, or non-political corridor, so to speak.
Non-political. Don't say light now, because that's a heavy poll.
Is Horn inevitable in a relationship? We had 33 people voting on the poll this morning. 19 of you who said no, you did not think that it was inevitable. And 14 of you saying yes, it is. It was pretty close at certain points. In fact, it was equal for a lot of the voting. It was back and forth. Then the no's kind of zoomed ahead and kept that lead. So the nays have it. They're saying no, Horn is not inevitable in a relationship. So the romantic posse wins out this morning.
You think that's romantic posse? You think that's romance?
That's the romantic
posse.
That's
delusional people.
I don't think it's delusional. So maybe I'm part of the romantic posse. I don't think it's delusional. So anyway, of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through all programming, and we'll give you the final results on Monday morning, because guess what? The weekend has begun, people. In case you didn't know, we are here to remind you.
Human beings are so deceptive that not all. Well, show me one that's not.
But you see, you're involved in politics, so you're jaded.
Well, okay. If you think, I just say him about politics. Because my experience is
involved in politics, so it has jaded your persona.
No,
and the lens through which you see life. Just like Paul. Paul is involved in politics to a certain degree. So he's jaded. He sees the lens of life, the light through a particular lens. That's colored by the experiences that you have.
All right. I'll allow your analysis. Paul, your mic is off.
I thought you studied law. I didn't know you studied sociology and psychology too.
Yeah. You're on a soapbox today.
I have hands in many pots.
Clearly.
He just come from writing. He just come from writing a play with the most sort of deception. He acted in a play.
I didn't write that play. Ricardo Samuel.
He acted in a play. Who write it? Ricardo? Ricardo alone? No, Ricardo alone ain't write that play. You write
Ricardo Samuel wrote that play. I acted in the play.
The most set of deception, and he come in to talk and set a stupidness this morning. Yeah. You know why? Because at the end of the day, yeah, Mike say, don't worry, we'll forget all about that. Let's just move on with our life. That was Mike in that play. After Mike was deceived.
You did a lot of what's the name of that footballer again?
Which one?
Brazilian footballer. I think it begins with a K from years ago.
K? A Brazilian footballer? A Brazilian footballer with
I think he's Brazilian. Cacau or something like that.
Oh, Kaká.
Right. So you did a lot of
Kaká.
And I did some. And so let's wipe this. Let's wipe the
which is right. So Richard, you are actually how I should put it, justifying Paul's poll. That's what you're doing, you know. The poll this morning is Horn inevitable. And basically in that play, it became that way that, okay, you did it, I do it, let me move on.
Yeah. But it was a particular relationship.
But the among the relationships that are like that now, right now as we speak.
Well,
you understand?
I don't have the data for that, but apparently you do.
Now, you know what we should do? Because different cultures have different approaches to relationship. We should have said in Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh gosh, no. Oh, no, that's a worldwide phenomenon.
Let me tell you, it is, but let me tell you something. When a culture develops words for certain things, it means that the phenomenon is very widespread so that they have to codify it in a word. We have words like horn, side chick, side bird, deputy, essential, all through decades.
Mm-hmm.
Because the phenomenon is so widespread, the culture develops narratives and nomenclature to describe it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
It's like with Eskimos and how many words there are for whales and white. Because of the environment they're in, their language and their culture defines it in many different ways because it's so pervasive and they have to live with it in so many different forms. It's just like Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
Yes, or maybe the Caribbean, but I can only speak for Trinidad and Tobago because I live here. That the way you have a side bird, or the main bird and the side bird.
But you know how many fathers? This weekend is Father's Day. Sunday is Father's Day. You know how many fathers have to spread their time over this weekend? Because I know I remember growing up with a partner who had a twin sister. He and the girl born the same day, and they're from completely different areas, two different mothers. You understand? So
I have a former colleague who's a friend actually, who had a partner. They used to play football, small ball, and all kind of thing. And his father died. And it's when he went to the funeral, he realized his partner who he's playing small ball with, and thing was his brother. He said, what are you doing here? My father dead. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. That happens. And it happened a lot more then than probably now.
This WhatsApp thing so dangerous. If you leave WhatsApp open and you talk, you type everything you're saying.
Is that so? I don't have that app. I don't have that type of app.
WhatsApp, everybody's WhatsApp.
That listens to you?
WhatsApp. If you open WhatsApp and talk.
No, I have WhatsApp open a lot when I'm here. Because I have to keep I keep getting messages sometimes. It's silence,
but open the app on somebody's message you sent and start to talk.
Well, I'll open it now. I have it on Eldon Coker, he and his wife celebrating 26th wedding anniversary today. Eldon and Niola Coca, happy anniversary, 26 years of wedded bliss. And
we could be taking some calls. Steve has disappeared.
Huh? Eldon was a
we had
former
a guest outside,
and his
and
wife
then somebody
Niola.
lost a husky.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a guest outside, and a husky got lost, but it's running up Abercrombie Street. A young one too.
It must be jump out one of them cars that dropping off those children to that executive school there.
Well, it's running up Abercrombie Street. So, Mr. Parry is going to join us now.
Is it 7:30 already? Okay, I thought we might have some time to blog a bit before we get.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
coming on now.
So happy anniversary, Eldon and Niola. 26 years. Wow.
Yeah, happy anniversary to you both.
Mm-hmm. As trophy, that you're getting into trophy zone.
Yeah. You're not seeing Mr. Parry. What are you frozen?
No.
You know Richard? Oh, no, he's not. Mr. Parry is knocking on you, though.
He's not.
Oh, you tell me he is.
As I always say, very often they don't press join.
Enter the studio. Yeah, enter the studio. Yeah, they don't press that.
They click the link, but you have to enter the studio.
They already seen themselves on camera once you click the link, you see. But they have to press enter the studio.
It's like starting with a kiss and not enter in the studio. You have to press enter the studio.
I have a fatigue for a partner who tell me, oh God, let me not say that.
How Rushton looking young, so?
Yeah, he lost some weight.
Yeah.
Again, definitely. Yeah. Morning, Mr. Parry.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Parry. Caribbean people always have to comment on how you look first order of business.
That's a good thing. It means that we're perceptive and we look forward to, good things when you see good people.
Mm-hmm. Campaigning is making you lose weight,
It does. It does.
You ought to be moving about and talking and galvanizing support and stuff.
Well, I mean, that's the politics. I'm grateful for every ounce that I can lose. I had one of my colleagues this week refer to me as a good-looking fat boy. So I take it as a compliment.
I jumped there. Yes, when you say grateful, I thought you were going to step out great, yes?
And who knows, the day and the week and the month is young.
Well, they've all been accused as PNM.
Wait, Wendell. Who knows? It's who knows you say there, you open the door.
Yeah.
That door was open before. Tell them that, Mr. Parry.
Keep them guessing.
Mr. Parry, good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Morning, and my apologies for running a little late.
That's all right. We understand it's been a busy week, and it's going to be an even busier weekend for you.
That's correct.
How has this experience been for you?
Two things. One, nothing that has went on in the last 60 days since I made the call for the party's internal election on March 22nd. Nothing has happened that I have not expected, that I did not prepare for, because I've been through, I've participated in internal party elections, and I knew exactly the length and line that everything that was going to come. Part of my response was to change the method of response, something that I think that the country would stand up and pay attention to, and it will give, I think, our young people in this country, our young electorate, a chance to see that there is a different way how our politics can be engaged in without going down certain roads, and inspire other people to get involved in it. Were we successful? I think we've done a pretty good job in terms of our campaign, in terms of our length and line, in terms of a response. And the feedback that I have gotten from every nook and corner of this country is that, Rushton, we are very proud of your team. We are proud of your campaign, and we have some hope that there is a future for politics in this country. And I take that as a win right there, even before the election results tomorrow evening, because we would have created a new space for a political conversation in this country, whether it's in the UNC, whether it's going to be in the PNM, whether it's going to be in a national election. I think our team and our campaign has done extremely well.
You know, I'm happy that you said that, Mr. Parry. You know why? Because I've been paying attention and following a bit of what has been happening on the campaign trail with both sides. And I would have noticed when they are attacking your team, they're staying clear of you. They are mostly attacking Rodney Charles and Anita Haynes. And I found that curious that they're not coming after you. Why do you think?
I don't know. I've got my fair share of attack from a few of my colleagues. But, you know, if you were around in the 2016 internal campaign where Dr. Munilal had challenged the very same political leader, and that was a political leader challenge. We don't have a political leader challenge in our campaign. But the narrative was the same. The narrative on both sides. When it happened again in 2019, 2020, I think with Vasant as well, the narrative was the same on both sides. So, you know, as any good strategist, as any good person who is looking at the history, because, you know, they tell you that, you know, your history decides your future. Why go down the same road that those other guys went and they all failed? With regards to the perception that there was no attack on me, I mean, I don't think so. I think you missed them, Wendell. You missed them. The attacks came, but, you know, I continue to have the greatest respect in the world to my colleagues. One of the things that I am not, I may be a lot of things. I may not be the best looking man in the world. I may not be the best, you know, the most fit man in the world, but I'm not a hypocrite. And I'll tell you why I'm not a hypocrite. I will not debase and insult anybody today. And because today is today and tomorrow is tomorrow, I jump back next to you and hug you and kiss you tomorrow. No, I am not a hypocrite. If I have an issue with you today, tomorrow the issue will still be here. But I see in this politics, and probably I'm misguided, my naivety. I can say the worst things in the world about you this morning, and because a circumstance changed tomorrow, I'm holding your hand and I'm hugging you. I think that is hypocritical. I prefer to see the good in every single person that I come into contact with. I prefer to see the good, because when you wake up in the morning, all my colleagues, every politician, every public officer in this country, I doubt very much when you wake up on a morning, you kiss your wife and children goodbye and say, honey, I'm going to do the worst possible job I can today. I really believe in my heart people leave home with the intention to do the best for this country. And I choose to see that in every single person, and I will work with that. And this is why I said last night in our last meeting, I assure the audience that when we win tomorrow evening, inside our party, I will continue to work with every single person, whether you like me or you like me. My mother taught me one thing in business. If somebody is an asset to you, you don't have to like them. As long as they can do the job and deliver for Trinidad and Tobago, and that is going to be the end of it at the end of the day, I will continue to work with all my colleagues, all members of the UNC, all members of the country. Anybody who has a place in national development, I think, you know, we need to return to that Big Ten system where everybody has a say. So I continue with a good positive way, and that's why you see I look so good this morning. Positivity.
Well, that's a very kind of altruistic perspective. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty, because of course politics in itself is a kind of mini war, especially in terms of these internal elections, and it determines whom the screening committee is going to be, and who make up the screening committee that's going to identify the people for the next elections in 2025. And if they are vindictive or the negative parts of the human persona, they may say, Rushton Parry, sorry, we're not sending you up because of the internal election issue. What do you do then? Do you continue to be the good guy in the room and support?
Well, I am not about crossing bridges that is not before me at this time, right? In business, I mean, I've always looked at, you know, what's before you immediately. Those things will come up. I have no doubt about it. listen, there's 18 months to go before a general election. There will be a lot of re-engineering, understand the NATEX itself. A national executive that is properly constituted, that is working within the framework of the party's constitution, those things will be addressed. I do believe that, we will work with the political leader. There's this presumption that, in the campaign, the other side, the political leader has more or less thrown her support behind that team. I think it was telegraphed at some point in time that she may not be willing to work with my team. But I can tell you, at the end of the day, I'm a very affable person. I have no hatred for anybody. And I can tell you, when we win on Saturday, Mr. Lala and I, we sat down during the week. He's my chairman designate in the election on Saturday. I sat with Larry and I said, Larry, can we spend an hour or two and discuss what will be the agenda of our first national executive meeting? And we sat and we discussed about the relationship that he, as chairman, because he is the one that manages a meeting, he is the one that sets the agenda, and he is the one that has to sit with the political leader and decide on an agenda for that first meeting. And let me tell you this, every single person on my team has the greatest respect in the world for Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, and we will continue to do so. And as a disciplined person and a disciplined team that I have, whoever sits in the seat of the political leader, our job is to work with that person and make sure we win government. I can't tell who is going to be sitting in that seat come November next year. But as of Monday morning, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa will be the political leader of the party, and it is our duty as a management team on Monday morning to give Mrs. Prasad Bisesa the best possible support and advice to put us into government. And that's really where it is. There's no way we can change
United
that.
Patriots, the name is United Patriots, right?
Yes, sir.
Have mounted quite a strong campaign, but I will tell you, and your confidence is clearly evident in terms of victory when the votes are counted tomorrow evening. But without trying to disparage or denigrate your efforts, I will tell you that most people I speak to, or maybe I'm speaking to the wrong people, don't think you're going to be victorious. They think the Star, is it the Star Alliance or the Star team, which has been endorsed by Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, is going to be victorious. How do you respond to that sort of sentiment?
I will tell you this. Nelson Mandela said it always seems impossible until it's done. So it's going to be done. As I said, we studied the campaigns of the past. We have looked, remember, Mr. Lala and many of his camp, they would have been on 2 elections, and they would have seen the shortcomings in the election day process, in the election day machinery. There is this perception that, the elections are gerrymandered at the end of the day. 2 strategies we've deployed. One, we have put in a system of suppression. So while we may not be able to stop any type of rigging, because obviously, the party controls the election process. Now, I have never seen it, but I've heard about it. So we have put in things in place that is going to suppress it by, basically having manpower, putting arms and legs and eyes in every polling station, put shifts of people that's going to watch these ballot boxes, put in your best people for the count at the end of the day, and look at your statement of poll. So we have a team of about 100 attorneys that is going to be scattered throughout the country tomorrow, that is going to be at polling stations all over the country to deal with issues that come up, issues on the membership list. If there are people...
It's 100 attorneys, you say,
Yes, 100 attorneys. And if you're not an attorney, you're a clerk in an attorney office. Take it from mommy to granny. Anybody who understands the law to put inside there at some point in time or in a cluster close by. It is really to insist that there was a membership list that was provided to my team on June 3rd with a signature of the General Secretary indicating how many members in a particular constituency. I can tell you, if Paul Richards turn up there tomorrow morning and your name is not on the list, you will not be voted. If
He
somebody
won't,
have to,
his
no,
name
I
is not
know,
on the list.
I know, but they may have a Paul X Richard somewhere, but I look for it. But the point I want to make is that, we're dealing with that. And the call that we made as well to the general membership is, look, they too, I mean, when we went out to these meetings, a lot of the members saying, Rushton, but we support all in the Bologan loss. Because they know that they feel that the election is rigged. And I'm saying, listen, you could rig how much you want. If there is an overwhelming tsunami of votes on Saturday, no rigging is going to stop the election. And
but why are you focusing so much on the rigging? Can't it be that the others have just garnered the support? You keep focusing on suppressing and rigging and all of that. Is it that you have suspicions that the election is not going to be free and fair because people could just win because people like them?
I think you're referring to the history.
The history. I'm dealing specifically with the history of the conversation of why Ole ain't go win, right? But I mean, Paul, as I said, we've been outside there through the membership. I mean, even fellows who would have participated in elections in the past, some of our own members, they will say, Rushton, there is a different feel this time around. There is a different sense of importance. And, this election tomorrow, this is a pivotal day, not only for the UNC. Tomorrow will decide, whether the sales in this country is going to be adjusted for the upcoming headwinds that is facing us. And I have no other choice to believe in my heart that the UNC is the vehicle that will take us to government in 2025 and take this country forward. I mean, I am not using this time to go back and rehash all the ills of the PNM because I think the country sees it, they know it. My campaign for the last 33 days was to instill in the minds of the membership of the UNC that we have a chance to take the reins of this country from Saturday and start building a plan and start building an environment and a consensus that should we fix our issues, should we prepare governance, should we prepare our party's governments to reflect how we will run central government, we will start to convince our swing voters that we are ready for government. And that was the whole
Mr. Parry, tell me something. Well, what is the usual percentage of UNC members that vote in an internal election?
If we were
I'm asking this in the context of the special electors vote, where I think only 3 people voted. You could correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
For special electors, which was remarkably low. And so, what generally is the average percentile in terms of?
I thought they said it was 100% turnout for special electors.
Yeah, 3 out of 3 was 100%.
Oh, sure, dear.
3 out of 3 was 100%. Yes. So if we were to go with the list that is peddled as our membership of 100,000 persons, right? I don't know how accurate that is. I know the list from time to time have dead people, double names, double entries, all sorts of foolishness. Sometimes you have one person registered in Mayaro and you're registered in Princess Tongue because you're born in Port of Spain, you have a register there, your girlfriend was in Point Fortin, you have a registration there. So there's some issues around that. So if we were to use 100,000 as the baseline, I would say between 12 and 15% is what is reported. Now understand, I'm being careful with that. 15%, which is about 12 to 15,000 votes, is what is reported normally at an internal election. And in the last 2 elections, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa would have gotten at the PL election. This is the political leader election because in those 2 elections, the PL was part of the slate. She would have gained anywhere between 11,000, 12,000 votes. And I think the other persons would have gotten between 2,000 and 3,000 votes, somewhere around there. I can tell you, I have no intention of getting 3,000 votes tomorrow. None at all. None at all, because we've done the work. We've done the work. We've been prepping for this exam for the last few months. We've gotten the tools, we've done the work.
One of the interesting permutations that can evolve from this, Rushton Parry, is now people are vying for several different positions, right? And each position is a separate position being vied for from either 2 slates. What do you think are the more, and yes, you want to win all, but what do you think are the more critical positions that your team really think it's important to win?
So to me, having the 3 DPLs is critical, because your DPLs, in terms of how I view an organization, your DPLs are like your vice presidents. Vice presidents have to be in charge of specific arms of the organization. Critical arms, critical deliveries for me would be one, constitutional arrangements, constitutional change, policy and strategy, digitization and membership. Those areas you have to put functionaries in those things that is linked or aligned to your vision of the party. So you need 3 persons who will be aligned to the vision that you have. That's the first thing. Obviously, your chairman. Your chairman is one of the most critical and powerful role in your political organization for 2 reasons. One, your chairman sets the agenda for every meeting, and that's critical. And 2, your chairman is the conduit to the various organs, organizations in the country. So your chairman must have the bravado, your chairman must have the ability to put through a call to Mr. Anthony Sabga's secretary and say, look, I am Larry Lala, or I am Dave Tanku. I'd like to speak to Mr. Sabga. Now, depending on who you are, Mr. Sabga, go take your call, you go say, call back later. I just use that as an example of how important the role of your chairman is. And obviously, your policy strategy, your treasurer. You know, we have a gentleman by the name of Dr. Curtis Manchun, who was an old stalwart of the party for many, many years. He sat on the first executive with Mr. Pandey, actually. And when I looked at all the persons who sent in their resumes, who reached out to me and says, Rushton, you know, I would like to be part of your team. This is what I can bring to the team. I saw Mr. Manchun's experience as a fellow chartered accountant, his experience as in COVI International Leadership. This is the type of person I want to help shape our young leaders in the party. More so, if we want to strengthen the party in terms of our institution, party headquarters, you need money for those things. You need to make sure that the party is framed in a way that it can accept donations, accept money, accept land from people who are willing to be part of the organization, but do it according to the law. Today, we have so much of international requirement to clamp down on terrorist financing, transnational organized crime, campaign financing, which is going to be coming very, very soon. So you have to framework, you have to have people who could understand those things and shape your political organization to do exactly that. So that's how we look how important. That's why we need some of those key critical components. I mean, I put key people, my 5 coordinators, they're all people who are on the ground, are part of the membership, who will be working with leadership to drive party organs and constituencies. So it was well thought out. So I want all. Not one.
Mr. Parry, I have 2 questions for you.
Sure.
One is that, and I followed UNC internal elections in the past, and I've never heard a team being described as a PNMB team. For the first time in a UNC elections, internal elections, your team is being described as a PNMB team. Why? That's one. And then I want to piggyback on Karen Yipnow's question, is that are there any other MPs that have quietly voiced their support for you, MPs in terms of members of parliament and senators, voiced their support for your team, but cannot openly say so? That's a two questions.
Okay, so let me answer the first thing, right? The question is not that we are being called the PNMB team. The question should be asked, who is the PNMA team? And I will leave that right there.
Okay.
And 2, with respect to Kiran's question, just remind me again what it was.
Are there other MPs and senators who have quietly supported you, but can't openly say so?
Well, I had the support of almost all of them prior to the call, right? Listen. Right now, there are a lot of colleagues who are in support. Now, none of them have really spoken to me on those issues. We meet very cordially in the parliament. Look, today we have the whistleblower bill. All of us are prepared to speak at the end of the day. I continue to have very cordial relationship with my colleagues at the parliamentary level. At the slate level,
including the political leader.
Listen, I don't refuse to talk to anybody when they come here now. So if I get a smile, I give you a smile. If I get a wave.
You said you have cordial relations with all your colleagues.
Yeah.
Does that include the political leader?
Yes. As I said that, I mean, if somebody talked to me this morning and talk to you, talk to me, well, you have a good day. I have other things to do.
When last have you spoken to the political leader?
I waved at her the last sitting. I waved at her.
You doing well, yes? Because after what they've been saying about you, you good.
So you waved at her. Did she wave back?
She smiled. She has a very lovely smile.
Right, Rushton, the whistleblower bill is coming before the House later today. Yeah. And according to news reports, the UNC is not in support of it. Can you tell us why?
There are several reasons. I know that they would have caucused on the bill. I think this is the second time the bill is coming back. As far as I'm not an attorney, so I have prepared some side notes. I know the attorneys will be the ones to argue that bill this morning. There are some constitutional issues. I think this bill requires 3/5 majority, if I'm not wrong. There are some serious issues that the party has with regards to overreach. And I think during the debate today, MP Saddam Hussein, Dr. Munilal, and they will bring out these matters back before the parliament, and we'll see how it goes. But as I said, the media has been asking about, they keep referring to us as dissidents. I don't understand what they mean by dissidents. We're not dissidents at all, right? I remain solidly under the hand of the whip at the end of the day. And we will continue to be a strong party in the parliament. And like any family squabbles, tomorrow, it comes to a crescendo. And Tuesday, Sunday morning, we go.
That is how you describe a squabble. Now, astute politicians have plan A, plan B, and plan C.
Yeah.
Plan A is if everything goes according to your wishes and dictates, and you sweep the polls. Plan B is if you get some of the positions and you have to work with the opposing team under the banner of the United National Congress. And plan C is if you get a resounding whitewash and you have to face the potential of fanatics that may or may not want to endorse you moving forward. What are plans B and C?
I can tell you what is plan D. Plan D, if all else fail, I came into this politics as Mr. Rushton Parry, very well respected in a community that I've grown up in and I love. And I will go back into the community as Mr. Parry, very well respected into the community I love. That's plan D.
There's a very interesting sonic sound when you compare Parry and Pandey.
Well,
has that even crossed your mind?
No, I have read. I did a lot of reading about Mr. Pandey back in the early days. I did some reading in terms of the formulating of the party constitution. I would not say that I'm an expert on Mr. Pandey, but I can tell you there's another, nice thing that I tell everybody that. The Pandays they weren't very close, but my parents knew them well. And while Mr. Pandey's name was Basdeo Pandey, my mother is Basdeo Parry. And when Mrs. Pandey is Oma Pandey, my father's name is Homer Parry. So
don't make joke, no man.
Yep. So who knows? There may be something in there for the future. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Well, let's just hope you are not treated the same way Basdeo Pandey was treated in the internal elections he lost. I saw that video the other day and I didn't even think it was that bad. I was disgusted to see and hear some of the things that people were saying about Basdeo Pandey. I mean, Mr. Manning didn't get it as bad, but Basdeo Pandey really got a terrible tongue lashing from
Mr.
people.
Manning didn't get it as bad?
I think Mr. Manning was actually chased out of Balize house.
No, Mr. Manning, trust me, Mr. Manning didn't get it as bad. I was there. Okay. It wasn't as bad.
Rushton Parry, all political parties evolve. All.
Yes.
Political parties, as a matter of fact, the ones that survive have to evolve and take stock of themselves and retool and re-engineer to remain relevant. So the PNM went through it between the transition from the late Mr. Manning to Dr. Rowley. And
they went through it in 1986 too, but nah.
Yeah, and the UNC went through it from Mr. Pandy to Mrs. Passab. And even, I think about 6 years ago, Wendell could correct me, Dr. Rowley was challenged by, I think, Penelope Beckers-Robinson.
Penelope Beckers-Robinson, yes.
Right? And there are some other challenges that were mentioned, but the leadership challenge and the internal challenge, and people could correct me if I'm wrong, didn't seem to get as vitriolic as we're seeing in this issue with the UNC, this current NATEX election. Why do you think there's that different approach in both parties?
I don't know. Okay, so let me deal with the first part about, the perception that it is more vitriolic this time around. What is different this time around is social media. Social media has really hyped up and it has pushed information at your door, at your fingertips more. So while you may feel that it is worse this time around, quite frankly, I don't think it was. I think it is exactly the same.
There was Facebook when Dr. Rowley faced challenges. There was Instagram. There was social media. Now social media will be more prominent now.
That's the point I'm making. The point that I'm making, it is more accessible, social media. And now everybody has a voice. Even if you're not a member of the party, you had an opinion on the matter. So, but I mean, you're free for your opinion, but I'm telling you, I haven't seen anything different. I haven't felt anything different that wasn't around in the last 2 internal elections, sitting as an observer at the end of the day. On the issue of change, I tell everybody when we go to these meetings that change is difficult, change is hard, but it is not fatal. Stagnation is fatal. If the drain in front of your house isn't being cleaned and the water remains muddy and dirty, you're going to get sick and you're going to die. So change is good, change is difficult, but it is not fatal. And you're right. Political organizations have to change. We have to become more modern. I can tell you, when we are finished with the party's constitution and we are going to set fixed date for elections, we're going to set fixed terms for office holders, including that of a political leader. Nobody will collect the kind of cuss I collect in the last 60 days because we are going to have these things straightforward and you will know what's happening way beforehand. And if we can do that in the party that we will govern, we're going to send a message to the country that we will do it when we go into government. Anything that we do in the party, how you run your party is how you will run government. And that's a business perspective that I have.
Is it that your slate is dependent on, I'm just getting back to the percentile of voters, is it that your slate is dependent on a larger percentage of people coming out to vote to get that sort of tsunami that you would want? Or you think that you're equipped to deal with the 11, 12, 15% that you could win with that?
So one of the things we realized on the campaign going forward, there were huge blocks of voters who came forward and said, Parry, we never voted. We were never interested in voting, but we're coming out to vote this time. And we've sensed that in all the constituencies that we were campaigning on. Even when I look at our call center data, because I'm a data-driven person at the end of the day, I would see the skew that changed from the onset of what it is now. So you find earlier on, we'd have gotten a large percentage of people who never vote and say, hey, they are no interest in voting, right? Don't waste my time. Coming down to this last week, when I look at our call center information, a higher percentage of people saying, yes, we're coming to vote. We are first-time voters and we're supporting you. So yes, I'm really hoping that the fact that we reached out to a lot more of first-time voters in the UNC, that is where a block of our votes is going to come from. We're hoping that the work that we did over the last 60 days in terms of the outreach with the traditional voters, I think we were able to convince quite a bit of them that what we're doing is not wrong. It is healthy. It will allow the party to grow from strength to strength. And finally, the voters who are the traditional Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's voters, which is, that demographic is the more elderly women, grandmothers, and so on. We've been able to penetrate those because there were a few old ladies when I go to temples and so on earlier on, and they say, no, we're sticking with Kamala, we're sticking with. I say, well, number one, Mrs. Prasad Bisasa is not on this lead. That's the first thing. Yeah, well, we go support your team. I say, no problem. But now a lot of them are calling and say, well, we understand the importance of what is happening, and you will have our support. Will she be a difficult team to beat? Will the Star team be a difficult team tomorrow? Absolutely. They are in control of the election machinery. Mrs. Prasad Bisasa is still well loved within the base of the party. But as I keep saying on the campaign, this is not about who you love, it's about what you want for the future of this country. And I tell the members that the future is really in your hands tomorrow. Make a conscious decision, and pick which team you think would take you to government in 2025, and whatever is the decision of the membership, we will stand and abide by it. And that is the conversation I've had with my team.
Well, if you learn nothing from the PNM, learn to take your people to the polls. Don't take it for granted that they're going to go. Go and find them and take them to vote. That's a PNM machinery that has always worked, especially in marginal seats.
That's correct. And that's the plan.
You get a free strategist, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Rushton, as we head to 8 o'clock, has this UNC internal election affected the UNC's performance as opposition in the House?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't had too many sit-ins. So far. I think the current issues within the government with regards to the issue of the Auditor General report, the failure of the government to, fix that particular issue, I think it got out of control, out of hand. You had a media review with the revelation of all these impending possible revenue generation methods. I think the government has really stayed away from the parliament. So we had probably just one or two sit-ins so far.
You know what the word impending means, right?
Well,
you're a bright guy.
It could come. We have a budget that is coming in October.
You know what the word impending means.
I also know what a report for consideration is versus a to-do list. I am clear on that.
Well said. True.
Yeah.
Right?
Mr. Parry, as we close up the interview, has this experience with this NATEX election changed or altered your personal view of how you see politics and how you see people?
No, what it has done is has really strengthened me in terms of how I understand the human being and human nature. And I can tell you, I have a lot of friends who do support me. A lot of colleagues, not at the MP level, even people around me. But you know what? The disagreement is respectful. Rushton, listen, I understand what you guys are doing, but we do feel that it is going to, in their view, that it may make our chances at the polls more difficult, and they have 2 or 3 reasons why. And as any good democratic party, as any good democratic person who understands the importance of person's opinion, we'll continue to fight for the right to have an alternative opinion to mine. I think that is the only way we go strength to strength at the end of the day.
Well, I can tell you, Mr. Parry, the UNC, under its current leader and leadership, will not win the East-West corridor again, ever. You understand? The UNC needs to change. And I can't put it any other way but that. Because when you watch some of the people the UNC put on the East-West corridor, you cringe. And that's why probably they have stayed away from this internal elections. I noticed that. Because they would have held positions in the last NATEX. And they've stayed very clear of them. So much so they're not even on the campaign trail. Mm-hmm. And the UNC must recognize that to win power, you have to win the East-West corridor. And that is not going to happen under that current leader.
I think the East-West corridor is one with 2 things. One, you must have a quality candidate that interconnects to the 3 or 4 seats. There must be an interconnection of those candidates there. And 2, your candidates in the safe seats tells the East-West corridor that these fellas are ready to govern. Yeah. If I can convince the East-West corridor that the team that we are putting in the safe seats, who will be in charge of governance of this country. I think sometimes governance is a hard word. What we are doing is providing managers. And the East-West corridor, or the middle income, middle class, that middle floating base, they understand what a manager is. And if they are not confident in the team of managers that we are going to offer to the country to look after the affairs of our country, then they will either stay home next year or they will continue to reject us, which is what we're trying to change by this election tomorrow, to drive the change in the party to make us acceptable as managers of this country going forward.
Let the UNC feel they could put David Naked and Annie Roberts in a seat and win East-West Corridor. They have to be mad. Anyway.
But that's how we have to end it this morning, Mr. Parry.
This morning.
Yeah, thanks for speaking with us. We appreciate you taking
all
the
the
time.
best to you and the opposing team, and may the best team win.
Thank
or
you.
the better team win. It's two teams.
Better team win. Thank you very much.
Have a
Take
great
care.
weekend. Be safe.
Thank you. All the best.
You all have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day, Mr. Parry.
Happy Father's Day as well.
And
Thank
Mr.
you.
Stephen and Mr. Ragoobarsingh and Mr. Khan and everyone.
Happy Father's Day to all of our listeners.
All of our
viewers on the Power Breakfast Show this weekend. So as we celebrate fathers, I want to say a big happy birthday again to my dear friend Ricardo Samuel. Happy birthday, Ricardo.
I tried calling him and he sent me the voicemail.
I think we called him last year, if you remember.
We did.
Did we?
We got him on the phone.
He did. I tried calling him again, sent me the voicemail.
Happy Father's Day to all our fathers who are listening. And folks, have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Be safe on the nation's roads. Look out for the young ones and remember to let go and let God.
The weekend has begun, people. Remember to smile and laugh. It's good for your health. Celebrate your fathers this weekend.
All right. Have a good one, gentlemen. Happy Father's Day. Right. Let's get into